Hi friends, my name is Leigh Manzer. I am the founder of Agápē Studios in Edmonton, Alberta. I wanted to take some time and welcome you behind the scenes at Agápē Studios and kind of my vision behind it and where it started from and how I got here. I want to take you on this journey with me in the hopes that you can leave, if you watch this video, perhaps inspired to believe in yourself and follow along my journey as I stepped into the unknown in a big way, and I know that it is possible to create big things from such small beginnings, such as a thought. And so I want to just inspire people to follow your dreams and pursue what you love and really act upon those things and really raise your vibration to happiness is really what I'm here to do. I want to help you to remember who you are and that you're greater than maybe what you think. So that's my goal with the Agápē Studios. So welcome to my space. I'll share a bit about myself and where this all started for me. In the past 27 years, I've been in residential construction my whole life. It's pretty much everything I ever knew and what I built my career around. And I became very, very good at it. The problem is, the longer and longer I kept doing it, the less and less I enjoyed it. it just seemed so, I don't know, disheartening to me. and I just, the more and more responsibilities it came with climbing higher on the ladder wherever I went in my industry. And it just, the more and more people I had to be responsible for, customers and employees, and it just, I found joy in teaching younger people the trades, but it was just unfulfilling in other ways because seemed like I was just feeding the corporation, the industry. And it was so unfulfilling to me. So what ended up happening is I had a job. I was a construction supervisor for a multi-million-dollar company here in Edmonton, and one day before Christmas, that a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago or something like that job ended one day. I was called into the office, and they informed me that they needed my keys to my truck, my laptop, my phone, and anything that I had, right? So, here's your paperwork, have a good day. And from that point, my life changed. But here's the crazy part is I would sit in my truck going back and forth from job site to job site, and I'd be listening to books like Yoga and Ayurveda and ancient knowledge and wisdom, so it was great. But the work part, like how it was playing out for me, I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the industry. I couldn't take it. And so when that job ended, it was like I stepped into it not afraid. And I started to trust in myself because I knew that there's just something bigger, and I didn't know what it was yet, so it was truly stepping into the unknown, and just, I didn't have any fight left in me, so I decided the only thing left to do was surrender to the process. So it was a tough winter, but one day, and it was just wild, I was just sitting there looking around for inspiration, and there's lots around me. You know, my wife and I, along our journey in the past 4 years, have been studying yoga and the lifestyle, the many branches of it, and Sanskrit, so many different things that's been impacting my life and helping me to see things on a bigger perspective. So in that moment, I was excited. I'm like, okay, this is something big is shifting, because I know I don't want to do this anymore. I'm surrendering. I'm going to see what happens in the now moment. And as I looked around the house for inspiration, I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing anything, you know, it's kind of getting depressing. So I seen a piece of pine in my back entryway, and I went and dug out my old scroll saw that I've been packing around for 15 years or longer, 20 years maybe. And so I this is my first piece that I made. And so I just drew it out on a piece of wood, and I took my scroll saw and I cut it out, a little Om mandala. And I posted a picture, and it went from there, and just literally where the miracle happened for me in that surrender and in that trust is that I found something special in that moment, in that piece. It's like, well, I got such a great response when I posted a picture of it, and then I was just like inspired. It's like, wow, what else can I do? You know, it's like, what else can I do with that? And then in the same day, you know, I made this little piece here, and it's just this my little design. I call it the Eye of the Lotus. This is the first piece, and so it's like, okay, well, that's really cool. I got a great response from that, and then people started asking me if they can buy my pieces, and I'm like, well, yes, you can. Okay, let's go. This is something different. I got excited, and it was that excitement that ignited that fire within my heart. It was just such a healing moment in that moment, because it was just, life got heavy, and then I found that spark of creation within me that I never knew I had. As a matter of fact, growing up, in school, I hated art class. I couldn't stand it because I couldn't draw. I couldn't draw worth a shit, you know. And I did not like shop class, woodworking, you know, because I couldn't build a box to save my life that stayed together, it seemed. You know, I didn't like music class, and I did not like English class. I just didn't like reading. I was good at reading, I just didn't enjoy it. So anyway, a little bit of my backstory to where we are today. And here I'm making art. I'm a musician. I write music, channeled poetry, and many other things, you know. So and I'm going to take you a little bit further behind the scenes and show you a little bit of projects that I'm working on. And it just so happens that I'm working on my masterpiece, The Seven Seals of Revelation. So I'll take you kind of into my thought process into some of these pieces. So anyway, here I am with this newfound passion. And that was the key for me to, and in this process, I'm also studying about the chakra system within the human body. You know, and that's where some of my inspiration comes from in my art and my studies of sacred geometry, and how sacred geometry structures our whole physical plane, and it's quite astounding. So anyway, within a year, you know, I just kept making new pieces and new pieces and new pieces, and so I just literally overnight, my world changed, just because I looked for inspiration and followed that, and it got me excited, and that excitement was a fuel to push myself to what more can I do, and then do it. The action was the key, and it's like, wow, it's like, man alive. And then I'm sorry I'm so excited, but this is my process, and this is why I'm such a believer in that we can change our experience just like that. And sometimes it's tough to go through, because one thing I eliminated out of my vocabulary and out of my thought process and out of my heart was some words. I can't. Because if anybody ever told me that something was impossible, I would, the way I see it, it's not, I feel like nothing is impossible, and I can't put those limitations on myself. To me, I see I'm possible in all things. And I know that each and every one of you, if you find that that creative spark within yourself, to live in that moment and use that excitement to fuel your energy of gratitude and passion, and follow that and act upon it. And that's exactly what I did. So now I want to show you from my first piece and my second piece that I shared with you. I'll show you a couple of things that I'm working on before I get to my 7 seals of revelation, and so this is kind of my journey, and this all happened in a year. And within a year, I made my first piece November 21st, 2022, and then I couldn't stop. So within that year, I've actually sold and made and sold pieces for people East to West Coast, USA and Canada. So I mean, like, wow. Like when I look back at that growth, it was just wow, like holy mackerel, like what else can I do? So so here we are in maybe close to a year and a half later, and big things are happening now, because when I found within myself, in my experience, and I encourage you to try these things in your life. Once I started to calm my mind of those I can'ts or what ifs, and calm the storm and the chatter within my mind, it opened me up to different aspects of myself, and I just found inspiration in everything around me. It was such a life-changing experience. So anyway, I just want to show you that what's possible when you really put your attention and your mind and your energy towards your passions, towards those things that excite you, and how quickly your world can change if you just follow it and trust in the process. You become a magnet of what you love when you do what you love. So I want to take you to my evolution of pieces here. This was one of my second pieces that I've ever done, and this piece is spoken for. I have yet to meet the young man, but I'm sure I will soon. I'm going to probably put a frame on it soon, but I called this Gaia Tree of Life, and it's just a representation of how we are so connected to nature, the human body, the soul, and nature. And it just, it's just, you can feel the energy coming up through and supported by the earth. And then just your aura comes to life when you flow with nature. And from there, the many branches of experience you have in a soul's path. And so that's when I did this, and I'm like, wow, like what else can I do? So that inspired me. This is one of my next pieces that I'm working on. It's the same thing, but it's more of a tree pose, same idea. So that's going to be a cool one once I'm finished that. You know, you can see that they're holding heart center. And yeah, so, you know, it's been pretty exciting. And then it's like, okay, I looked around and in our meditation yoga healing room, Angela and I, she bought a banner, Angela, and it was a banner, you know, it was a good size, and it had all 7 chakras, you know, as we were getting to know our chakras and how they play a role in our experience here on Earth. And so I'm like, you know, I think I can make that. So I started making, and I called this piece the 7 Seals of Revelation. And my thought process behind that is just the marriage of Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy as well, Western culture, which I very much grew up with in being in a very religious family myself. And now, me personally, I would like to start taking, you know, disassociating religion and spirituality, you know, because I just feel that anything that causes anything, any entity, any person that causes division within the hearts of and minds of anybody, division of love, division and separation of one another, because to me there is no separation. So that's important to me, to separate the two, because spirituality is just more of looking inward. And that's what I did when I started making these pieces and drawing out the sacred geometry and understanding and searching the meaning of each piece. Each piece is a portal to another aspect of yourself. When you're soul searching, when you're looking within for the answers, and not outside of yourself. And so I'm going to start with the piece 1 of 7, Muladhara. This is the root chakra, and I tune each piece in sound bathe to each corresponding frequency and notes to each piece, each chakra. And this piece here is tuned to 396 hertz. This is a representation of Earth and our portal into our physical reality. And so that's what I see it. I incorporated a lot of symbols in here of the Vesica Pisces, and that is our portal to this physical realm when we leave our natural state of our higher self or spirit form into this physical experience, and we go through the Vesica, the portal to the physical, the womb. And so this to me represents that portal. And the next piece, 2 of 7. This piece I can never seem to make the same as myself. I have a lot of work to do in my sacral area, and this is what this represents. And the sacral is just below your belt line, below your belly button. And this, so I always have a lot of work, because that's where we hold our past traumas of this lifetime and others before this as well. And so this is what this piece represents. This is Svadhisthana, the sacral. And this one is tuned to 417 hertz. It is representative of the element of water. And this one here, as I said, I can never seem to make it the same every time. It's kind of weird. So, but I was inspired. I've been doing a lot of tarot card reading as well, which you can also reach out to me if you like a tarot reading. You can send me a message. I'll leave my links in the description to my page, Agápē Studios. And so anyway, this one here, as a tarot card reading, I want to bring in the High Priestess. And so I was inspired by the Crown of Hathor, Isis, representing in the tarot the creative source from the spiritual realm, and from her robe flows the water of life and trickles into our physical reality and into the other major arcana of the tarot card. So I was inspired by that divine feminine, as this piece represents water, which is a feminine element, and also this piece represents the divine feminine of creation, the womb, and that's where our sexual organs revolve around our sacral, and which is also a powerful source of creation, as we are naturally creative beings. And so this piece to me represents that beautiful divine feminine within each and every one of us, whether we are male or female. We each carry this energy within us, and this is where we hold all of our trauma within our body, within our memories, our attachments to how a memory possibly might make us feel. And we hold onto those attachments and those cords in life, and it takes its toll on our mental body and our emotional body and our spiritual body, and it comes into the densest form into your physical body, and then that comes out in dis-ease of the body in one form or another. It's a manifestation of that not being at ease. So we can use the power of creation when we step into our creator self, and we're inspired to follow that excitement and act upon it, and creating something in your own unique way. We can use that to start to heal those traumas within the body that we hold and anchor ourselves into. And truly, when we are anchored into that lower vibration of fear, and which includes guilt and shame, where we hold all of that here, and a lot of times we'll have pain and or problems in around that area of our body. And so when we can step into our creative power, we start to move that energy up through our body in a productive way, in a healthy way, because we're starting to get excited about being able to follow that power and stepping into your power. And so that starts to heal the traumas when we step into the now moment, as opposed to bringing our mind to the past, where truly the past doesn't exist only in your mind and your body, but nowhere else. It's how you react to it that will make the difference. And if you choose to move forward and heal yourself of that trauma, understanding that in this lifetime that life happens for us and not to us, as we truly came here from spirit, embodied in this physical body. And that's what these pieces mean to me. This is within our body, the energy centers. So this is what that piece means to me. So the creative power that we can use to start to move that energy, because emotion is energy in motion, and when it's not in motion, it causes chaos within the body. So moving up the ladder of the Sushumna, which is your spinal column, where these chakras sit. We have the solar plexus, representing fire. I tune this one to 528 hertz. You can see the representation of the fire by the sun within our body. This piece is a very powerful piece of where we hold our energy. It does get dusty with anger. But once we begin to heal that which no longer serves us, our attachments, and sever those cords with our creative power and our spark of excitement and joy, when we start to follow that up, we get to the solar plexus, and we, with that power, we can start to look within ourselves as we might judge another person for something, where that is truly where we should be looking within ourselves. And this is a very triggering thing, because our triggers in people that piss us off the most, which fires up your solar plexus, it gets dusty with anger, when you but this is where we can start to move that energy with compassion and kindness, and understanding from a higher perspective that we are here on a soul's journey, having a human experience. And when we can see it from that point of view, knowing that we volunteered for this experience, that personally for me helped me to look at everybody the same as me. And it's easier and easier to look at things without judgment, but compassion. If somebody doesn't understand it, they don't have to choose to hurt anymore. And truly it comes down to a choice. So moving forward for me, up the Sushumna to where I love to operate from, we come up to heart center. And this is such a beautiful place to be. And this one's 4 of 7, and it is called Anahata. And I tune this one to 639 hertz. And so yeah, this one's pretty cool, if you can see it here. I love this one. This one, when I made this for the first time, I was just like, I don't know, I can't, it's hard to believe that within a year, just over a year, that this is coming from me, not having any artistic ability prior to this. I've never been an artist, ever, or considered myself one, until that one day. Overnight, I became an artist. It was easier to let go of that, what I thought I had to do. And so when I started to step into, move that energy up my, I started to believe and trust in myself that, holy mackerel, this is possible. Let's keep going with it. Let's move this into heart center and operate from my heart of unconditional love, where we can take all of that gratitude for the experience, when we can allow ourselves to step outside of our experience from a higher perspective, and look down upon the beautiful trail that you left behind in your experience, to see how it benefited you and made you and gave you the strength that you needed to grow. And when you can look at your life and all of the most difficult parts of it, and you can look at it and smile with love, because you see the beautiful pattern that you left behind for the growth of your soul, so that you can learn these lessons that your soul required to move forward, to have more love and compassion for yourself in your own experience. And then when I started to understand that I put all of these things in place for me before I entered in this experience, so I could experience those things. And by my choices, it would create the experience that I would experience, that I needed. And it would keep showing up until I realized that it was me, that by my choices, the cause and effect of it. So, and how powerful it is that we can create in such a big way. We can use the power of the heart to alchemize that dense, heavy energy from the bottom traumas and angers and fears that we experience and that we hold on to. Once we let go of the attachments of those heavy, dense energies, we can use the heart center with the key of gratitude for the experience, when you open your heart up to the pain and understand in gratitude and love that it was all meant for you so that you could rise above that dense energy and alchemize through gratitude for the experience of everything through your heart. And that allows that energy to start moving up past your heart in a different way, because you're using a new tool of gratitude, and that starts to turn all of that heavy dense energy into gold, lead into gold, and it moves up when you breathe it into your body and up your spine, and we start to come up into our throat chakra. And so gratitude is the key to let that flow, energy in motion. And so to me, that's the fourth key to this seal, gratitude. Now we move up the Sushumna, the spinal column of the body. This is a tough one for me and for a lot of other people. This piece is representative of our throat chakra, 5 of 7, Vishuddha. I tune this to 741 hertz. And you can see here, I scrolled out also so 16 vowels of the Sanskrit alphabet into 16 of these petals. And each has, of course, a different note, and opens up that petal when you put your attention and energy and love and compassion into each and every one of these petals. When in your meditations you can go within and look at this energy center and open up these petals with awareness and intention and love. This is our center of truth, where a lot of us have so much troubles to speak our truths and to stand in our truths, because of maybe how it might make someone else feel. But when we step into love and compassion, our truth might change and we might speak in a different way. But it's important to set healthy boundaries for yourself and to really understand the energies around you, what you can take of somebody else's frequency and lower vibrational energy. When you stand in your truth and you start to speak your truth, when you raise your vibration, when you're moving this energy up your body, in awareness that you are greater, you can have great things. You can speak and say, I am worthy. I deserve this. I am great. I am magnificent. Because the cells of your body, when you speak these things, is like a spell into the Akashic records, the story of your life, your soul's journey, and they become belief systems. And when the cells of your body will give you the experience of what you feel and what you speak and what you think. When we start to move that compassion and love and gratitude through our heart, we start to speak our truth in a different way, because we are experiencing greater things within ourselves. When we set those boundaries, when we act upon our passions, and we stay in the present moment in gratitude, where everything is happening in the now moment. Now, we come, and the more you speak your truth, the more you set your boundaries, the more greater experience you begin to experience. And then things change, and then we move up into the third eye, Ajna. 6 of 7. And I tune this one. I tune this one to 144 hertz, and I have a reason for that. I look at everything as frequency, and when we're working on our third eye, for me it was important to really get a hold of finding that love and gratitude for the traumas and the pains that I've went through in this experience. And when I found that love, now if I choose to think about it, it's not in a negative way, and it doesn't affect me in the way that it used to, where it would anger me. It's important to alchemize that anger to move forward. And then when you're moving that energy up, and then this energy is moving freely, we come into our third eye, and this is where, right in the middle, in the center of your brain, is called the pineal gland. And actually, it's kind of funny, I've been wanting to make a piece, and so I got a pine cone here. I don't know if you can see it when it's closed off, right? And you'll notice in the Egyptian hieroglyphs of a guy holding something like this, and it represents the pineal gland. That is your tuning fork. It is your receptor, your receiver, your transmitter to the unified field of consciousness, to the universe, to source energy. And that spark of energy within yourself, source energy. And so when you start to move that energy up with love and compassion, you're moving electrical currents up your sushumna, and it's also bringing the oils of the divine masculine and feminine up through these chakras within the body, and then it creates an oil that starts to lubricate the crystals in the pineal gland. And when that happens, the cone starts to open up, and it's like an antenna or a satellite dish that is receiving transmissions and downloads, because your brain is a quantum computer, and you have the ability within your own body and mind to connect to that source energy and that unified field of consciousness, to look for the answers and the healing within yourself. And you open your mind up and you receive information about you and your experience and what we are here to do. And so then you can step outside of your experience in the physical plane and look outside of yourself and see that you are the missing link of your puzzle, that you are the one that you have been waiting for, your savior. This is where you meet Christ consciousness, which is an energy, and in my opinion, not a person, but a consciousness within each and every one of us that we can access. And when we access that consciousness of unity and unconditional love for ourselves first and foremost, but then without judgment in another, because we're truly reflections of one another, you have compassion and kindness and love for each and every person in the experience and in their moment that they're experiencing, without judgment there. And you're opened up to diversity and the beauty of that within each other, and then the many paths that lead to the divine within yourself. And the judgment begins to fade away more and more, because you accept that we can create great things with diversity and acceptance of that diversity, with love for one another, what we could create if we loved one another. And that's that understanding that it's a choice within each and every one of us to become that ourselves, and that will change the world around us and those that might be attached to those lower frequencies. And so then we move up the Sushumna to the crown chakra, Sahasrara. I tune this one to 963 hertz. Now this one, and I'm going to go back to why I tuned the third eye ajna to 144 hertz, because everything is frequencies, is because that is the crown chakra, when that vibration of 144 hertz goes through and the lotus of the crown chakra opens up to the universe, when your pineal gland begins to open. And it becomes, as they say, a 1,000-leaf petal. And so with frequency, and this is my opinion on the 144,000, which has been a question in my heart and very much confusion revolving around that number. But when I started looking at everything as frequency, that just became a frequency to me, and it's a very high frequency, but you can play around with it. And so 144 hertz multiplied by 1,000 gives you 144,000 hertz, which is a God frequency, which then you recognize the God within yourself, as opposed to outside. Because when you understand that you create your experiences by the choices you make, and how you react to, in the moment, whatever happens in that moment. And when we attach ourselves to fear or guilt or shame or anger or any of those negative lower frequencies, we start to sever our connection to our higher selves, to our spirit self, because we're densifying and slowing down our vibration. But when we start to step into our power and recognize not only the divine masculine and feminine, but the divine creator within ourselves, and see everybody else and that light within their hearts and within their experience, no matter where they are in their experience, you start to recognize the beauty in each and every person. Because truly, for me, every person is a divine spark of that source energy within themselves. And that is a fractal and a break off of that one whole piece, that one holographic image of divine source energy, broken off into many fractals and aspects, 8 billion perhaps or more. But souls here as humans for the experience, each of those fractals to me is in each of our hearts. And in a holographic image, when you split that holographic image in two, it becomes two pieces with the whole image of that whole. And you can cut those into another millions and millions of pieces, and each piece still has the image of the whole energy source. And so we are fractals of that each piece that broke off of source energy, experiencing itself in many different aspects, in many different experiences, to see it from each individual eye for that experience of knowing thyself. And so when I look at another, I look at myself and I smile, because it's cool to see myself in a different version, in a different experience. And the love and the beauty that wells up within me to share those things in my experience. I hope that it inspires you to look within yourself and to let go of that which does not serve you anymore. So anyway, I've probably rambled long enough for this one. As my wife says, I repeat myself a lot, and she's correct, so that's something I work on. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the behind the scenes here, and be making more shorter videos as I go along in my process of my creating my dream and bringing in and manifesting the experience into the physical. And it begins with a thought. And if you think you can't do something, you're right. Because then you put that limitation and that belief system on yourself. And when you start to believe in yourself and that energy is moving freely, and you understand that you are a creator. And then you choose to do things that make you happy, things that bring you passion, that in doing that acting upon that will bring you to, you know, an open door of opportunity that you never thought was possible before, because you couldn't see it, because you weren't the vibration of that reality that already existed. You couldn't see it before, but now you're raising your vibration, you're becoming in tune with that frequency and timeline. And the more and more you practice that, you begin to create that, you manifest your heaven on earth, because you step into the power of your love, and unconditional love for everybody else around you. Your world will change. And so that's basically it for me for today. So I really hope that you, if this resonates with you, that you might share, and join me again at Agápē Studios behind the scenes. And if you hear anybody snoring in the background, that's my princess Laura. She's my ambassador of unconditional love, and you probably see her in a lot of my posts and reels. So I'm going to leave also in the description a link to my wife's page, Agape Holistic Yoga and Wellness, and the Tranquil Turtle, her bath and body line. It's quite exquisite. So check that out if you have time. Please leave a comment with your thoughts. I would love to hear any inspiration from you, anybody who checks this video out. I want to hear from you. I want to see myself from another aspect. So it's beautiful to make connections, and you know, follow along my journey. If you find inspiration, please let me know. Send a message. And one thing, agape is a Greek word, and it is the highest form and purity of love. And so that's what I want to bring to this world, and the energy that I want to carry within myself, and reflect that light into this world, and be a beacon of light for others who chooses to do what they love. So that's Agápē Studios. And what else was I gonna say? I think that's about it. I'll put it in the description if I remember anything else. And much love to everybody. Find that joy and peace within your heart. Great things started happening for me, and will for you, when you realize that you're already a part of something great. Namaste, friends. Have a great day.